Before the coming of the Tang, China was a land of ghosts. It was a place of fractured kingdoms and broken dreams. The great Han Dynasty, a memory 4 centuries old, had left behind a legacy of unity. But you know that unity was long gone. Warlords clashed. Dynasties rose and fell like the turning of the seasons. The north was dominated by nomadic peoples who had swept down from the steppes. Buddhism, a faith from distant India, had traveled along the Silk Road, finding fertile ground in the hearts of the people. It was a crucible, forging a new, more resilient identity that was waiting for the right moment, the right leaders to be given form. Out of the ashes of the Sui collapse stepped a man named Li Yuan. He was a shrewd general, a man who knew the ways of the northern frontier. In the year 618, with the help of his brilliant son, Li Shimin, he marched on the capital and declared the founding of a new dynasty. Li Shimin was a military genius, a warrior prince in the truest sense. He rode at the head of his armies, leading from the front. It all came to a head in the year 626 at the Xuanwu Gate incident. It was a brutal, decisive moment. Li Shimin became Emperor Taizong. As emperor, he proved to be as skilled in peace as he had been in war. He surrounded himself with able ministers, reformed the government, and ushered in an era of stability known as the Reign of Zhengguan. Imagine a city so vast, so magnificent, that it was the center of the known world. That city was Chang'an. With a population of over 1 million people, it was the largest, most cosmopolitan metropolis on Earth. This was a place where the world came to meet. Merchants from Persia, traders from India, monks from Japan. The West Market was the true heart of Chang'an's international character. It was a riot of sights, sounds, and smells. A great central avenue, the Street of the Vermilion Bird, acted as the city's spine, leading to the gates of the imperial palace. Grand temples dotted the landscape, their pagodas reaching for the sky. It was truly a golden city for a golden age. The Tang Dynasty wasn't just powerful, it was brilliant. This was an age when art and culture reached heights that were the envy of the world. You've probably seen them, the famous Sankai, or 3-color glazed earthenware figures. They are unmistakable. The Silk Road brought not just goods into China, but also new ideas, new styles, and new techniques that Tang artisans embraced. Sculpture reached a new level of realism and grace. Giant statues of Buddhas looked down with serene, compassionate expressions. The Tang court was famous for its grand orchestras and troupes of dancers. New instruments and musical styles arrived from across Asia. It was a vibrant tapestry, woven from countless threads of different colors and textures, creating something truly magnificent. If you had to pick one invention that changed the world, you could do a lot worse than woodblock printing. And it was during the Tang that this incredible technology truly came into its own. An artisan would carve away areas around characters, ink the raised surfaces, and press onto paper. Suddenly you could make thousands of identical copies. Before printing, books were precious, rare things. Each one had to be copied by hand. Knowledge was the preserve of a tiny, wealthy elite. The oldest surviving dated printed book is a copy of the Diamond Sutra from 868, found hidden in a cave at Dunhuang. Soon, calendars, almanacs, and dictionaries were being printed. The government used it to standardize and disseminate its legal codes. For the first time, a scholar in a remote province could have access to the same texts as one in the capital. It democratized knowledge. Then there is Wu Zetian. She began as a concubine of Emperor Taizong, but maneuvered her way to power through intelligence and ruthlessness. In 690, she declared herself Empress Regnant, founding her own dynasty. She is the only woman in Chinese history to have ruled in her own right. Decades later, the Tang reached its absolute zenith under Emperor Xuanzong. His long reign is often seen as the high point of the Golden Age. For 30 years he was a brilliant ruler. Art, poetry, and music flourished under his patronage. Chang'an was at its most magnificent, but Xuanzong's story is also a cautionary tale. In his later years, he became infatuated with young Guifei and neglected his duties. He handed over power to corrupt officials, allowing the foundations of the state to weaken. This neglect would have catastrophic consequences. The beginning of the end came in the form of An Lushan, a general controlling 3 important military garrisons. In 755, he rebelled. The rebels swept south with terrifying speed. The magnificent city of Chang'an was captured. Emperor Xuanzong was forced to flee. Along the way, his own troops forced the heartbroken emperor to order Yang Guifei's execution. It was a tragic moment that symbolized complete collapse. The rebellion raged for 8 long years. The jewel of the world was sacked and looted. The golden age was over. The Tang eventually crushed the rebellion, but only by allowing rebel generals to keep territory as semi-independent governors. The empire was fragmented. The century and a half that followed was a long, slow decline. The empire was a shadow of its former self, plagued by scheming eunuchs and plotting warlords. The Tang Dynasty may have fallen, but it never truly disappeared. Even today, many Chinese people overseas refer to themselves as Tangren, or people of the Tang. Their poetry is still learned by school children, the works of Li Bai and Du Fu considered pinnacles of literary art, capturing timeless human emotions. The legal codes, systems of government, and examination system were all refined by the Tang and influenced Chinese governance for the next 1,000 years. The art, ceramics, and fashion created a visual language still seen as quintessentially Chinese, defining an aesthetic of balance, grandeur, and elegance. When we look back at the Tang, we see a civilization at the peak of its confidence. Strong enough to be open, creative enough to innovate, sophisticated enough to create art of enduring beauty. The Tang Dynasty was a crucible where the China we know today was truly forged. Its light may have faded in the 10th century, but its warm glow can still be felt across China and the world.